Okay, so let's get into it, how you should build your agency the right way. The first thing we're going to go through in this video is the roadmap that I've used, and this is some proven frameworks that actually work and that are in practice right now in my business. I'm going to give you some practical steps and actionable tactics that you can implement today, and then we're also going to go through sustainable growth and how to build a business that scales without burning you out or without needing your constant attention. Okay, so the first thing is the common myth, which is don't start an agency. It's too hard, it's too saturated, it's too risky. Now, the truth is you can start a successful agency by just following the right order and a proven path that somebody else has taken before you to make sure that this actually works. No need to reinvent the wheel or go about your own way about how to build an agency. There's hundreds of people that have built up to millions a month, so why not just follow what they've done instead of risking creating a whole new wheel when it may not actually work. So the issue isn't saturation, it's execution, strategy, and how you choose to actually build your agency. Now, the goal is to build an agency that evolves. So for me, I thought the best way I could start out if I was to start again is to, one, start broad, in which we actually did at the start. And that's when you don't really niche down too much. At this stage, you want to cast a wide net and learn quickly from a diverse range of projects. After that is when we want to narrow down a little bit. And we use the projects that we've just worked on to let natural patterns guide you to the sweet spot, to let you know exactly where do I narrow down, where do I niche down to, instead of just guessing at the start, okay, let me niche down into this industry, start broad and narrow down naturally. After we've narrowed down and we know what works within that industry, then that's when we productize the solution. We transform insights into repeatable, scalable systems. And this is the most crucial part to building agencies that are able to scale way past 50k per month and up into the millions per month. So phase one, the broad and the curious phase. This is where we take all kinds of clients. In this stage, we're really just gathering data and not chasing perfection. We're just trying to work with as many people as we possibly can. We treat each project as paid learning. We're going to test different industries and use cases, discover what energizes you, learn which problems you solve best, and build a diverse range of case studies. Now, remember, your first clients are the classroom, and every project is going to teach you something invaluable about what works. Now, a key part to this and a practical tip is the free project strategy, and that's where you work on a free basis for the first one or two projects, and we treat these as just strategic investments into your future. Now, how would you come about reaching out to somebody and telling them that you want to give them a free project without seeming too needy, and also without kind of putting up their guardrails of, why is this guy giving me something for free? It must be useless. The way I would go about that is just telling them that I'll build this for you at no cost. You don't even have to use it if it doesn't meet your needs. And that's kind of how I'd take my approach if I was to cold email or cold DM on LinkedIn and so on. These are the approaches I would take to let people know this is kind of new to me. I'm in this business new and I want to build these AI automations for you, and I'll do it for completely free. Now, what do you actually gain from this? Well, you gain hands-on experience with real problems that companies are facing, and this is the most valuable information you will ever get within your whole business, identifying or using other people's experience to find real problems. This is the core of your business, is solving problems. So if you're able to use somebody else's experience to find them problems, be it through free projects, then that's exactly what you have to do. Along with that, these professional case studies are good for your portfolio. You get confidence in your delivery process, and also you get testimonials from these people and potentially referrals onto other people that they've worked with or other people in the industry that they know. That's kind of the approach I would take about my first one or two clients, is doing this free project strategy. Now, phase two is to review and select your niche. So after completing 3 to 5 diverse client projects, pause and analyze the patterns. Who did I save most time or money for is probably the first question you should ask when we're trying to find somewhere to niche down into. Identify where your AI solutions delivered measurable significant impact. Then the second question can be something like, who was the most excited to work with me, which again is a metric that is important, as it shows who is really interested in working with you and how will the other people in the industry take in any of your marketing approach. when you do decide to niche down. So look for clients who saw immediate value and actively engage with you, responded to your emails quickly and so on. And then after that, which projects felt energizing, which projects felt like you were doing something that was useful. Notice where you felt most motivated and creative, as this is, while not the most important part, because you may not feel motivated or energized in all of the projects, which really doesn't matter. You're starting a business doesn't mean you have to feel motivated or passionate about that specific topic. Really just how much time have you saved this person, and do you think you'll be able to sell it to other people within that industry? And that's where this question comes into play. So the intersection with all of these questions after they are answered, that's your niche signal. That's where you should know which niche is probably the best to get into for the type of projects that I want to build. Now, why does focusing on a niche matter? What's the point? Why can't I just stay broad and just market to everybody? Well, the reason is because firstly, authority. Become the go-to specialist in the chosen domain or niche that you've picked, rather than just another generalist providing all services to everybody. Secondly is clarity in your offer. Prospects immediately understand what you do and who you serve. In the first step, where we're kind of generally reaching out to everybody, it's going to be probably the toughest step, and I'm sure actually it's probably going to be the toughest step, because you don't actually have a pain point, you don't have a solution to offer them. So they kind of have to come into that and do half of the work for you and tell you what they want. When you niche down and when you get clarity in your offer, prospects immediately understand what you do and who you serve. So that previous step that we were talking about, where we identify a problem and we reach out to people in the future with that problem, this is what clarity in your offer is, where you're able to tell them, hey, for example, let's say we identify that real estate agents need help with content creation, and we have an automation solution that is able to do that for them. We're now able to reach out to real estate agents saying, hey, I have this a content creation AI agent that can do the full process for you. That's a lot more appealing to them to respond back to, rather than just saying, hey, I do AI automations, I can automate whatever you want. It's hard to respond back to that, because they know they're going to have to put in work to actually find something that you can automate, and there's a whole learning curve, there's a longer sales cycle. You need to niche down. Trust me on this one. I've tried to do the broad stuff and it doesn't work. The only people that it does work for is people that have a massive lead flow. So people that run maybe a massive LinkedIn account or a big YouTube channel where they have a natural lead flow. That's the only people I've ever seen a general kind of agency work for. So niche down is crucial. Then secondly, or the third point, and that is faster word of mouth. Clients know exactly who you are, how to refer you, which is amplifying your reach. And referrals in an agency, when you start one or as you start signing clients, you will realize very quickly how important referrals are for your company. So specialization isn't limiting, which a lot of people will think. It will stop them from being able to get a wider range of clients, which is so far from the truth. I think it does actually the opposite. Specialization is going to bring you in more clients, so it's liberating for you. You also stop competing on price and start competing on expertise. As you become an expert within that specific niche or industry, you become the go-to AI person. You get to charge a premium on that expertise that you have gained. Now, phase 3, the productization phase. So this is where you productize the service that you've built. This is where we turn what works into a repeatable system. Stop building everything from scratch. Create a proven framework that you can deploy consistently. This is where we've scaled my agency from that 10 to 15k a month mark up to 100k, and we are going way past that coming into the end of this year. The reason for this is because we have the same core setup each time we onboard a new client, which significantly reduces the amount of time that we spend deploying this project. So for us now, it's a couple of hours. Previously, when I didn't have a productized solution where I built custom projects for everybody, we were charging around the same amount, so we weren't making any more money. But it took us maybe a week or two to actually onboard this client and to build the solution, and that's pretty quick for an AI automation solution. Is like 2 weeks would be a pretty quick time. We were getting the same amount of money doing that as we do now, where it can take us a couple of hours to onboard somebody. So I suppose that kind of speaks for itself how much scalable it becomes, and why productizing your solution is important. Now, within the space we are, it's nearly impossible to kind of just productize it where there is no customization whatsoever, because at that stage you're just a SaaS, which I don't think is the way to go. I do think it's important to keep light customization per client. And as you productize down, you will start to realize that every kind of person, every client within an industry, they typically have the same problem. So generally there's a lot of light customization regardless, but I do like to keep some customization for my clients because I don't want us to be a SaaS. We are an agency at the end of the day, which provide kind of somewhat custom solution for each client. But with this productization service, we do kind of have a base product which works, and each client obviously has different ways of running their business, and we will kind of mold the productized service around their business. Now, this is obviously good because it's fast, it's predictable onboarding. Now, examples of this is, let's say, a lead response system, the AI that handles new leads instantly with intelligent qualifications. Or another example can be like a tenant qualifier for a real estate agent, and this is where the voice agent that screens and qualifies tenants automatically. That's something that's also very easy to productize. Now, the real advantage of productization is predictable delivery. So you know exactly how long projects take. You know, this eliminates scope creep and timeline uncertainty. Also, higher profit margins. We reuse the same proven components effectively, reduce deployment time per project dramatically, and also you get less burnout, so you stop reinventing new solutions constantly and you focus energy on refinement and not recreation. So you need to stop being a freelancer and become an actual business. Now, phase 4 is the upsell and refine. So every new client reveals improvements to your core product after we have created a productized solution. We're able to reuse the best features and incorporate winning elements into your standard offering. So with each new client you work with, they're probably going to come with their own problems that they want you to adapt, or that you want to do that kind of minimal customization that we were talking about. Each client is going to bring one problem like that is typically useful for all of the clients. So you get this service where you start reusing the best features from one client through your whole process. So let's say we had 4 clients on a social media AI automation agent, and the 5th client said, oh, would you be able to also add some feature where it can post the content for us? Then we might think, oh, that's actually a good feature in which we can use for all of our clients, and then we're able to implement that across our whole client base and for future clients. So we're constantly refining our core product service. So we incorporate winning elements into your standard offering. Then we add additional upsells. So this is where we can add like analytics dashboards, we can add voice capabilities, we can add WhatsApp integrations, and these are just kind of minimal stuff that you can have maybe 1 or 2 developers that just work on these upsells, which are a little more custom. But these become very, very good and key services for your business because they're very easy to sell to existing clients because they know what you build works and they trust you, so the upsell becomes a lot easier for you. Then we refine the service based on feedback. We let client insights tell us what we need to add on to our productized service. This continuous improvement cycle transforms your agency into an increasingly valuable, efficient operation that compounds in value over time. This is the flywheel example, which each loop raises your quality and price. So we build, we sell, we get feedback, we improve, and we repeat that service again. So in this stage, our product might be, I don't know, maybe let's say it's 1,000 or 2,000 a month. We build that, we onboard a couple of clients, that's the selling phase. We get feedback from all of these clients, we improve the service, and we repeat this, but except in this new rebuilding phase, over here we're able to sell it, let's say from the first phase we were selling it for 2,000, now we're able to sell it for 3,000 per month because we've added all of that feedback that we've gotten from our client base is now in our productized solution, making this a lot more valuable to people so we can sell it for more. Now, phase 5 is longevity and leverage, and this is the longer you stay in the market, the more leverage you build. So as you gain longevity, the brand trust deepens, so your consistent presence builds invaluable credibility and a strong reputation with clients. Our sales become effortless because we've established good relationships and a proven track record naturally, and attract new business with less outreach, which is something that you can't do if you just want to be a freelancer, because you're kind of changing from topic to topic and nobody really knows who you are within any industry. And also when we build longevity and when we get leverage, we also command higher rates and higher premiums. So your expertise and reliability become premium assets, and justifying increasing pricing for your specialized services is obviously a lot easier for you, especially in the space of AI, where it seems like there's a new person talking on LinkedIn or on YouTube every single day. If you're able to stay within one niche or one industry for a longer amount of time, that is going to be massive for you, because there's not many people in this AI automation space right now. So you can imagine in 2 years when it becomes a lot more saturated, or 2 or 3 years when it's majorly saturated, you've been building a brand around a specific industry for the past 2 years, and you become the go-to person for that industry, which is going to command a higher premium than anybody else can charge, because you've been in and around the industry for the past 2 to 3 years. Being around matters. Longevity is credibility. So the right order for your AI agency: success isn't about starting, it's about following deliberate, proven pathway. So step 1 is broad learning, where we explore diverse projects to gain varied experience. Step 2 is finding your niche. So we identify your strengths and market demand through analysis. Step 3 is productize services, where we develop repeatable frameworks for scalable delivery. Step 4 is where we refine and upsell, where we continuously improve and expand offerings with additional value. And step 5 is building long-term authority, where we establish credibility and leverage for sustainable growth. Each phase builds upon the last, transforming your agency from an idea into established, profitable expertise. So that's how you build your AI agency that actually lasts. Start broad and learn fast, explore diverse projects and gain rapid experience insights, and productize for trust within your clients. If you like that video, leave a like below and let me know what you want to see next. Also, if you want to start your own AI agency, I'll leave a link below where you can learn from me how I've scaled my agency to over 100k per month, and how you can do that as well. So that's going to be the first link. Also leave a like, and if you leave a comment, I'll know exactly what you want me to make a video about next.